Do you have a hot new business or an established business that offers great and unique services or products that you want to get the word out? Are you looking to grow your business and you want everyone to hear the buzz about it? Do you have an amazing project or an idea that impacts our community that you want to share or get others involved in? Then you've come to the right place. You're listening to Community Connections with Norma G. I'm your host, Norma Guerrero, and I want to share your passion while connecting with our community. So now, let's get ready to hear about what's hot, what's new, and what's happening on Community Connections with Norma G. Give us a call at 888-565-1470 and join our conversation. Great. Good evening. Welcome to Community Connections with Norma G. Thank you so much for tuning in. You're listening to us live on 95.3 FM, and you can watch us live streaming at Facebook at AMP2 TV Productions on your Facebook, and you can tune in and watch us. You can also listen to us on your AM radio at 1470 AM. Our number to call in is 888-565-1470 if you have any questions. And we have a special guest in the show today, and her name is Sarah Spiriutal, and we are going to learn all about her. And thank you so much for coming.
Oh, you're welcome, Norma. It's a pleasure to be here.
Thank you so much. It's been really nice getting to know you and learning about you, and I'm just really looking forward to our conversation tonight because I feel it's a week of Thanksgiving, and it's a week to kind of stop and not move so fast and to really enjoy the blessings that we have in our lives, whether it be our personal lives or our professional lives. And I just taking this time to speak with you kind of put me in that mindset a little bit earlier today, and I just want that message to go out to everyone that it's the week of Thanksgiving, and you're rushing around shopping and cooking and flying and packing, but just take that extra deep breath and be thankful and grateful, and don't fight too much at the dinner table this week about we know what, a couple of things that have happened during our lives in the last few weeks. So, Sarah, so tell me a little bit about you and where you're from and what are you involved in our community here in Palm Beach?
Well, I'm actually involved in a lot of things. I have a Expedito Enlightenment Center. It's a center where people come to transform.
Okay.
And their transformation is from the inside out. And at the center, we host a lot of events to assist people in learning and growing spiritually. We do a lot of children's classes. I love working with children. Children are the heart and soul of our generations to come. And they breathe life into us as the adults. You know, a child can make you just laugh, just at the best moment, when you really need that laugh. So we encourage that. And I've been working with a lot of people who are feeling out of sorts. They don't know what's next for them in their life. And they're looking for their purpose. Mm-hmm. They feel as if they came to this earth for something, and they don't know what that is. And so they're looking for that.
So your center, the Expedito Enlightenment Center, where is it located?
4047 Okeechobee Boulevard in West Palm Beach.
And how does it work as far as you're open all the time? You have services?
Well, we are open
Tell me about it.
Tuesday through Saturday.
Okay.
And we're there from 11 to 6 Tuesday to Friday and 10 to 6 on Saturday. Now, 6 o'clock is a loose number because we finish when we're done.
Sure.
But we have people come in, they look for products that they can buy, some maybe incense. Some people are looking for some spiritual bath or a spray, something to assist them.
So you're a creator? You've created these products? She brought in a couple products here. Yes. We have the Sage Clearance Mist. And so what does that mean, clearance?
It clears energy.
Clears energy?
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
You have energy. I have energy.
Yes.
So what if we just came from a place where the energy was very anxious or toxic? And our energy kind of acts as our aura. You know, our aura acts as a lint filter. So we want to clear off the energy.
That is clearing.
And use that to clear our home. We can mist ourselves, our vehicle. I have a lot of clients who take it to work, and when no one's looking, they kind of spray it under the desk just to kind of clear the shift and make this happen for themselves. They need a better sense.
So it's about acknowledging your energy when moving from one space to another.
Exactly. And clearing things.
And then we have the Archangel Chamuel Mist.
That is our
this?
number one seller. You know why I love Shamuel? He's a love angel.
He's a love angel?
Unconditional love. And he's known as Cupid. You know, Cupid's arrow as we get ready for February. It'll be here before we know it. Shamuel is the love angel. He brings love. He touches people's hearts. And that has more of a floral scent. And it just captures the essence of love. And the way I create these products, Norma, is I am
They're very
given
opening.
recipes.
They're very
Yeah.
kind of, they open up your
You
what do
open
I
up
wanna
your
say?
energy,
Your
right?
energy,
You
yeah.
can feel the shift. It
Yeah.
lifts up your
Smells very
vibration.
nice. Well, so we know where to get those. And so you have a wide range of products?
I do. I do.
And this is all for people to take that time and to, when you say, do they do private sessions? Do you do group sessions? What is it that you do there from 11 to 6?
Well, first of all, we assist people with selecting products that
Okay.
will help them in their journey of spirituality. So that's one of the things that we do. And we also have our classes, and we have classes that go on a few times a week, different
Okay.
topics. But my primary function, besides teaching, is I do spiritual sessions. So someone will come to me, they may have an opportunity in their life that they need to make a change. Perhaps they want a new job, perhaps they're stuck in a relationship, perhaps they're having trouble manifesting a relationship. So that's where Spirit and I refer to it as Spirit. I talk to the Great Spirit, and I get information. And that information assists them on making some high vibrational choices on their path of life. And it's such a fun, rewarding thing to do. And I sit with people all day long from all walks of life, and not just local here in Palm Beach. I have people who will Skype in, telephone in. I have clients all across the world.
Really?
All across the world. And they come to see me because they feel it's a safe container. And their job is to just be in the room with me. And then I open up the space. And as I open up the space, I can feel the presence of their guides, their angels. I have this knowing of what they need to talk about. And we open up that way. And then if at the end of the session, the general session is about a half hour, if at the end of the session there's a question we still haven't answered, then of course they ask their question.
So you mentioned that you've had this center that you founded and created 10 years ago.
Yes.
You said you told me that 10 years ago. Is this something that you have always done your whole life? Is something that did you ever feel any type of energies when you were a young child, or is this something more as you became more of an adult?
As a child, I felt things. I felt that something was going to happen, or I knew that so-and-so was going to call. I had that knowing, that intuition that we all have, but nothing in my family ever
Well, that was going to be my next
supported
question.
that. Was not
was
what
there
I was so
anybody in
at.
your family that also has some of these gifts?
No, not that I know of. Not that I know.
Would you describe that you have any specific types of gifts?
I would.
What would you just, what
I
would you
have
name
the
them?
ability of clairaudience, clairvoyance. I can see, I can hear, clairsentient. I can feel people's energy. I do have the ability to connect with people's guides and angels and talk about their past lives. And yes, I even have that wonderful, blessed opportunity to have a loved one come through. And that's an important thing for people when they've lost someone, for me to connect to the loved one and for the loved one to give me an aspect of something so valuable that they know for sure that I received that message from their loved one. It's such an important gift for the person who's still here on earth. The way I've come to see it is that our loved ones, they haven't gone far. They're simply on the other side of life, and they're still connected with us. Like, for instance, we were talking earlier, today is the day that my dad passed
Yes.
23 years ago, and I was pregnant with my son at the time. And it was a really difficult thing for me to go through. And of course, I didn't know that this was going to be my future. I just knew that the most important person in my life was no longer physically with me. And it took quite a while for me to get used to that. And even now, because I have my human side, I find it sometimes a little saddening that he's not physically here, but I have the ability to just be aware of his energy and to feel it and to know that he's supporting me.
And that gives you comfort.
It brings me comfort. It brings everyone comfort. When you've lost someone who touches your heart and we can't understand why they're not here, we look for that guidance. We look for that connectivity. And that's what I do. I have the opportunity to connect you to the loved ones on the other side.
Do you hear voices?
It depends on the person. Sometimes I'll hear a voice. Sometimes it's like playing charades. I get pictures of things in my mind. and I just describe what I see. I also do a lot of writing, automatic writing.
I was going to say, I see that you have your notebook there. Is that something where do you feel any vibrations with me while you're sitting across the room from me during the interview? I mean, I'm wondering, you're saying you feel these things when you're with someone. Is that something when you sit down to a session, or even when you're just, this isn't necessarily a session between you and I, but is it something where you feel things even with me
Sure.
sitting across
I
from
do.
you?
Of course I do.
Yeah?
And
Anything we want to share?
anything we can share
Anything
on
we
camera,
can share
right?
on
Oh,
camera?
goodness, yeah. I look at the energy around you, and I'm reminded of a lotus. And it's just the opening of the lotus. And for you, there's an awakening, a blossoming. And the reason why I write is because as I start to talk about things, they start to give me information that may not stay with me for long. So I have to put something down, and every line on a paper means something to me. So when they talk to me about shifts and changes from 2014 right into 2016. And they talk to me about this was the opening energy that has created some desires to make shifts in your life. And that these 2 transitional years have been very important for you within self. And there's been a journey of self. And from there, you're going to blossom.
So stay tuned
Yeah.
for my blossoming.
I know, we have to film it.
Well, we are kind of a little
Like,
bit
a little
as
bit,
we
but
speak.
yeah.
I've been on film now with doing this radio TV show. So, who inspires you? Who inspires you? Maybe in your personal development of becoming a spiritual advisor, or on the daily, where do you go for spiritual enlightenment yourself?
Well, actually, I get to talk to the Ascended Masters and the angels all day. So for the most part, they are my guidance and they are my cheering section. But the person who actually inspired me to
Sure.
step into this was a man I met in a computer store. I had made a shift in career, and I decided I wanted to go into the computer business. And my foot in the door was because I had a very strong training background, that I was going to help them set up their training program for their computer classes.
Okay.
And I was there per diem, and in walked a man who wanted to sign up for classes. The crazy thing is nobody could sign him up. Nobody could get him to cooperate. Person after person, manager after manager came in, and they couldn't get him to sign the paper. So being from New York, I said, give me the paper. I can get anybody's credit card. And I took the paper, and I went off outside, expecting to see someone who was a little bizarre.
No, you're not a spiritual advisor at this point.
No, I am in
You're
the computer business.
Right,
Yeah.
okay.
I am in the computer business, and it's about 1996. And I walk out, and there's a man in a suit, and I'm thinking, what's the problem here? So what I did was I simply went over, sat down, just like we're talking, and I gave him the paperwork. He filled it out. His wife was there. There was a lot of movement all around us. He seemed perfectly normal to me. And just as I was sliding the paper away, he leaned in and told me something spiritually about myself. And I kind of...
He leaned into you.
He did. And I thought, oh, this is weird. And he talked to me and said a few things about myself. He knew that I received headaches all the time. He knew my dad had passed. He gave me so much information in about 3 minutes that it really scared me.
Like he stopped you in your tracks.
He stopped me in my tracks, and I'm going, oh, yes, he is crazy, totally crazy. So I thought, well, I'm going to be done with him now. I'm done. I got what I came for. And so he said, I'll be back to see you tomorrow. And I said, okay, great. And in my head, I was laughing. I didn't work there. I was just hired for the day. Yes. A few hours later, guess who they called into the office and said, can you come for 2 more hours tomorrow?
Right.
And guess who showed up? The man who ended up being my spiritual teacher.
Really? So he himself was a spiritual advisor.
He was more than that. He was a man who healed himself in a hyperbaric chamber. He was dying of throat cancer, and there was nothing more they could do for him. And he had a healing.
So how long from that encounter would you say you kind of, I guess, became a spiritual advisor yourself? What period of time was that?
Well, I think it was sitting with him. He awakened a lot of things. But I did a few readings here and there, a few sessions with people. But I moved to Florida in 2004. Mm-hmm. And in 2004, At that point, I was on my way to be a VP in a corporation. And my teacher used to say to me before he passed, "You're on track to be a VP. You're making this amount of money. You're doing great. Keep going. That's the plan." And I'd say, "Yes, that's the plan." Because he would never answer when I asked him, "Do you think I'll do what you do?" And then life took a turn. We were talking about life in terms before, right?
Sure.
Well, the turn life took for me as I was out walking on Christopher Columbus Day. And I fell. And I really had difficulty getting up. And there was a lot of injury to the physical body, to the back. And they were saying I needed surgery and so many things that, well, maybe for someone else that would have worked. But because I had been in the energy for so many years of a man who had amazing healing opportunities and abilities that could change people's lives, I decided I wasn't going to take the path that they were suggesting, and I was going to heal myself. The only problem was I couldn't do my job anymore. I couldn't get on a plane and go fly to a client. I couldn't go see some of those people. So I had to make a change. And in the stillness, I was still enough from the distractions of life and the next goal, the next big thing in life, to hear the whisper. And the whisper said, "You need to go out and help people." And now, Norma, when I look back, everything I've ever done in my life has been to help people. Even some of my little girl dreams were to make a difference in the world. And so essentially I have the opportunity, whether it's one person at a time or groups of people, I have an opportunity to assist people to make a shift. And the best part of each individual making a shift is that as we each step into our divine consciousness, as each person finds their inner peace, we will see the shift in the world that we're all looking for. It begins within. It truly does.
Well, that's a beautiful story, but developed by many circumstances. Many circumstances. So why don't we take a little commercial break right now, and then we're going to come back, and I got like a whole list of different questions, but kind of new ones that popped in my head.
Okay, great.
So you're listening to Community Connections with Norma G, and we'll be right back.
Times are tough, and right now those in the commercial world know that being heard via advertisements is the name of the game. AmpSquare.tv understands how important advertisement is and is proud to express that it's truly the only plugged-in internet television production company on the market. Amp2.tv live streams all their shows across all the major selling markets in the U.S. and abroad. Call them at 866-224-5422. The AmpSquare.tv library allows productions to be seen over and over again, making commercial platforms more usable. Call 866-224-5422. Toll free 866-224-5422. Amp2.tv, the first and only internet television network that's truly plugged in. 866-224-5422. That's AMP2.TV.
Thank you for listening to Community Connections with Norma G. We're the place where we talk about your business, a product, an idea, or a project, and get the word out to our community. I'm your host, Norma Guerrero. Today we are sharing your passion while connecting with our community. Give us a call at 888-565-1470 and join our conversation. Don't forget to tune in every Monday night at 6:30 to join me, Norma G, and a guest to find out what's hot, what's new, and what's happening in our community. Now, let's rejoin Community Connections with Norma G.
I couldn't sing. I was toned down.
Welcome back to Community Connections with Norma G. I'm your host, Norma Guerrero, and if we are talking to the Miss Sarah Spiriutal today,
Yes.
And she is a spiritual advisor and coach, energy healer, medium, and artisan for personal transformation. And she's the founder and owner of the Expedito Enlightenment Center. And where is that Enlightenment Center again? How do we find you?
West Palm Beach, Okeechobee Boulevard.
And is there a phone number or website?
It is 561-682-0956. And you can also go to Expedite Enlightenment and sarahspiritual.com.
Well, we've had a great conversation the first half of our show, and if you'd like to call in and speak to her, the phone number is 888-565-1470 if you have any questions. If not, you can contact her at a later time. But, I have a background in medicine and taking care of people. And so I've encountered many experiences, whether it be the patient or be the patient's family members, where it can be a difficult time.
It can.
And I have found myself in situations where I've had to, you can call it minister, counsel, spiritual comfort, to people, because sometimes, death is imminent or disability is imminent, and people are mourning a loss. And so I have found that, in my personal life or professional life, really, I have been an agent of comfort to be able to provide people to sometimes just connect with their spirit, because that's the only place where we're going to find some strength. And I've done some personal soul searching, in my life. And I remember years back, I did a study of the difference between peace and happiness. Because I found myself a little conflicted with not being peaceful because things weren't going my way or something. So I had to reconcile those two subjects, and I had to do. I brought it with me here, the peace of God,
Yes.
and that the peace of God has nothing to do with circumstances, daily challenges, conditions of my life, or the absence of conflict. What it has everything to do with the right relationship with God, my life in God's hands, and knowing God is all sufficient. And so that's how I tend to, if something isn't, if I'm not happy, that's okay. But I have peace through the storm. I have peace through and it's a daily walk, and it's a daily moment. Sometimes it's from a moment to moment. And so I like what we're talking about today, because it's one thing to know things, it's another thing to practice it. And so you're a spiritual advisor, and so people have to reach out to they either have to connect but sometimes we like to connect with an advisor, a counselor, to help clear our thoughts. And if someone had a gift that they think that they may have to be a spiritual advisor, but they weren't confident about it, what advice would you give them?
Well, I would actually advise them to take some of my classes.
Okay.
I have an apprentice program,
Okay.
and we just concluded one segment, but we have another one launching again in February. And what that does is it helps them identify where their gifts are and how to trust that. Because we have to trust the inner voice and know that the inner voice is not going to mislead you. And when you realize that you are essentially connecting into your divinity, and when you respect the fact that there's an aspect of God within you, then that gift is always there. And they're always ready to assist you. And then when you ask to be of assistance to other people, well, then it's like opening up the floodgates of blessings. Because to assist someone, to be of service, the universe will provide anything and everything necessary to get that message or assistance out to someone.
Do you ever find yourself, do you ever follow up with clients, through post sessions, or something comes across you, and do you ever reach out to them, or is it always them coming to you?
Well, I have a very supportive staff, and so we have a lot of contact with people based on events coming up. So we have a wonderful following. I think I've read about 20,000 plus people for the first time, and we have a very great client retention over the past 10 years. So I may see someone every 2 years.
So
I
you
may
have
see
to follow
somebody
up, yeah.
else every 3 months for a while. Depends what's going on in their life. And the fun thing is to recognize that I've known some people now for 10 years and that they've been my client. And to kind of look back at the things we've navigated, because we're always all growing, myself included. And sometimes my client is one of my best teachers.
Is
Because
it expensive to have a phone consult?
It's $50 for an in-person session at the center.
Okay.
And it's $55 for Skype, $50 for phone. And it's a 30-minute general reading. I
Okay.
offer other sessions connecting to spirit guides, crossing over sessions where we talk to our loved ones. I do past life regressions. So those have a slightly higher cost to them, but everything is, I feel, in a very reasonable amount.
Sure.
So that it makes it accessible to everyone, because we all need that confirmation to know that we're on the path that is our destiny.
Well, Sarah, I really, I really enjoyed, our time together to talk. And I have one more question for you before we conclude the show for today. Do you have any further aspirations in your life? You've accomplished a lot, but it's I know you love helping people.
Mm-hmm.
Do you have any like further goals and aspirations that you still have kind of on your radar that we can continue to expect from you in the future?
I do, and thank you for asking that question. It's to take the message out further, beyond the Expedito Enlightenment Center, to have people recognize that there's the voice inside of them and that the I am presence, that divine essence is always moving, and to awaken people, awaken them. And I can do that through classes and traveling and meeting other people. And of course, networks such as this that offer me an opportunity to spread the message of the platform.
Absolutely, absolutely. Well, I thank you again. Tell us again how we can find you and how we can find you, either your center, the address again, and the phone number and website.
Yes, Sarah Spiriutal, SARAH, spiritual.com. Expedito Enlightenment Center at 4047 Okeechobee Boulevard in West Palm Beach. And we are there Tuesday through Saturday. And I do take appointments by appointment. So I have to have an appointment, a reservation, and I fit in as many people as I can every day.
And we can actually squeeze in one more thing.
Oh.
Because I don't think that I got to mention this, but Sarah has a background in music.
I do.
And you incorporate your music into your sessions or into your classes?
Into my sessions, into my classes, into messages for people. I had someone who was talking about something that was very disruptive to her personality. She was feeling very upset over letting go of a relationship. And I wrote her a song just based on that conversation for her to love herself more.
Do you write your own music?
It happens instantaneously. So I don't really write it out. There's no writing words. It's just I put my hands on the piano, and in 4 minutes, I have a complete song.
Almost like a prayer?
Yes. It's a download, really.
Yes.
And it's ready for the arranger. So it's quite fascinating, and I know that's coming from a source higher than me.
Well, go to her website, and you can, hear her music and hear and learn, find out about her products, and just find out about her classes if it's something that's of interest to you or something that's calling you. And thank you again
Thank you, Norma.
for being
Thank
here,
you.
and happy Thanksgiving, everyone, and thank you for tuning in to Community Connections with Norma G. We'll see you next week. You've been listening to Community Connections with Norma G. We'll be back next Monday at 6:30 with a new guest to share about what's hot, what's new, and what's happening in our community. Did you hear something you liked today on our show? Please contact me, Norma G, at 954-802-2015. I look forward to helping you expand your business, project, or idea and connect with our community. That's 954-802-2015.
The opinions expressed on the preceding sponsored program were strictly those of its hosts, guests, and callers, and not necessarily those of this station, its staff, management, or sponsors.